Hello, everyone. Hello, YouTubers. This is Anonymous T. Hope you're having an amazing day today. Today, I am reacting and reviewing Power Book 2 Ghost Season 2, Episode 3, The Greater Good. And first and foremost, can I say, I am so happy it took 13 episodes, but we finally have Mary J. Blige and Method Man in the same scene on the same episode. Thank you, whoever is responsible for this. Thank you so much. Bravo. Oh my gosh. So let's get into it. Essentially there is, a final agreement in terms of, having Mecca be the new Connect. However, Monet doesn't know yet that the new Connect is actually Dante. So Monet wants to have a meeting set up between Kane and Tariq to temporarily squash whatever beef it is, because they're going to have to go back into business together. And after that, Kane asks Monet for the money up front since we're dealing with the new Connect. He wants his money first and foremost. And then it's hilarious because both Monet drives off and Kane drives off. And Tariq is like, wait a minute, like, I did all this for you guys and I come whenever you guys say to come and you guys never can give me a ride home. And so he always has to like run off somewhere, and it's just hilarious. I'm surprised he does not have a car by now or something, or at least a car service like he did back in the Power series. I don't know, it's like very weird. It just sees him like running around and like running through the streets or whatever. It's really bizarre. Also, what's going on is still this murder investigation. So we see Zeke holed up at the precinct the entire episode. Kevin is obsessed with, pinning this murder on Carrie. And, Zeke is not budging. He is not confirming anything about his relationship with Carrie. And Carrie was blowing him up the entire day, wanting him to answer the phone so that he can corroborate that him and her are together. And so it got to the point where, Zeke had missed his basketball practice. He was missing all of this stuff. And what do you know? Kevin finally drops the bomb that Zeke was not the only person that Carrie was with. He finds out that Carrie also was sleeping with Jabari around the same timeline that him and Carrie were, which links the both of them to potentially murdering Jabari. So now that's an issue. And also, Zeke is trying in between to get a hold of people. He's trying to get a hold of Monet. He's trying to get a hold of different people so that he can get out. And it's just nobody is responding today. And so he is very frustrated. So then at the very end, when Monet finally gets him, he had give Kevin his PBA card that Ramirez gave to him as Kevin was going through his wallet, which is a whole nother problem because now that is a link between Zeke and Ramirez and Zeke and Jabari's murders. So that's a whole nother set of heat that is going to suck for Zeke. And Zeke didn't know the parameters involved of having that PBA card and not to use it and this and that. And so he is basically screwed. Then Kane drops off the money. He goes back over to Mecca's house, to his penthouse. He's having some sort of soiree. He's having a big birthday shindig for his friend. Has some like elaborate slashing of a pig to like get his presents, which looked like some coke and some other stuff. And then there's like strippers all around that are like naked, that are dancing on everybody. And, then there's food cooked by the chef. And so, the friend's birthday, he's trying to spill tea on Mecca. He's trying to spill tea on his personal life, which does not end well for him because Mecca chokes him out in front of everybody. So it's funny because Mecca has the other strippers just tend to Kane. And Kane, meanwhile, keeps getting shook because he's looking at over next door to, the guy that just got choked out by Mecca while he's trying to, enjoy himself at the same time. And it's just hilarious. And so Kane ends up spending the night at Mecca's penthouse. And the next day, Kane is, thinking things are good and things are on the up and up. However, he basically wants to complain about Tariq, and I don't get his obsession with Tariq. It's like they both don't like each other, because they both have certain similarities where they tend to like screw things up epically, and they both want to be in control of a situation. And so essentially, Kane ends up giving up, Tariq's name to Mecca because Mecca basically, threatened him and said, hey, I don't work with people who don't trust me or whatever. And so then he finally gave him his name. And so Mecca said, okay, I'm going to look into the situation for you. So he follows Kane to where they have the link up, so that he can drop off the product to Tariq and Brayden, and then that exchange was all awkward and weird. And so Mecca then tells Kane afterwards that Brayden is his key to Tariq. That basically, Tariq is who trusts him and everything else. So if you can get Brayden away from Tariq, then that's going to make Tariq vulnerable. So that's where, things are at now. So basically, Kane now is going to try to butter up Brayden and, make him his best friend and make it to a point to where Brayden is going to want more out of this drug dealing business and want to expand and want to do all these big things. And that is going to be where the bright lights are with Kane. Meanwhile, Tariq is still trying to stay a low profile with the campuses and this and that. So that is going to cause a conflict, which is what Kane wants, because then he feels he can have certain minions that are on his side, which then gives Tariq less control of the situation. Next we have Diana, who I feel is getting more of a voice this season. She really seems to be coming into her own and speaking out, getting more smarter about what is going on, both within the family, as well as with the business, as well as what's going on and who all the moving parts are. And so she wants to get her dad out of jail. So she has it so that Tariq sets it up. So she meets with Method Man to go over her father's case. And at first, Saxe is shutting it down and basically giving Diana false hope, like there's no hope at all. Whereas a Method Man at least is trying to give some false hope that there's potential, but Saxe had completely shut it down. But then later on, Saxe is still sleeping with the opposition who, of course knows all of the high profile prosecutors on all of these cases. And he finds out that the prosecutor on Lorenzo's case was one who was a dirty lawyer, who got fired for, always like hiding critical evidence and things that basically would screw over the defense in a lot of cases. So it ended up getting exposed and he got fired. So then immediately Saxe texts Method Man and is like, hey, we can potentially win this case. We can potentially get Lorenzo out of jail, since his appeal case is coming up. So more to come on that. Then next thing that happens is Brayden shows Tariq, and I thought this was the best part of the episode for me. So Tariq and Brayden, of course, are, running, the Course Connect business, and Brayden set up a way. He met with this guy who does like 3D printers and can like do optical illusions of things. And so they meet at like the top of this building. And essentially the bricks he had converted into lockers. And essentially how it works is like there's like a little hole for a barcode that on your phone you scan this barcode and it opens up a locker. So that way when they do business with people, essentially what can happen is they can put the product in this particular locker for their customers, and then the customers, they can then scan that particular barcode and then go into that locker and get their product and then put in the money to pay Tariq and Brayden, and nobody knows that Tariq or Brayden is behind it. And I thought that was so slick. Like, honestly, I wish Power would focus on this storyline of the app and how they're making cool things go down with the app and different advances they are making with this business and how cool it's being, like both with the Yale students and the Stansfield students. Like, I feel like that is the strongest storyline they have. And I hate that we get so little of it because it gets, pushed to the bottom over all of these other murders and all these other things that are going on. But I feel like the app drug business is the best thing that is going for this spinoff. And I wish there was more focus on it because the app idea was amazing of how it all came to be last season. And now this next level of scanning the barcode on your phone to open up the lockers so that each individual person, you can do the exchange and nobody knows anything. You don't have to meet in person or meet in a bathroom and like switch things over like old school. Like, it's very high tech. It's very anonymous. And that's what I love about this entire app storyline. And I wish power writers, producers, directors, can we focus more on Course Connect? Can we focus more on the app drug business, please? Please, I beg of you, please. Can that be the focus of season 3? Can we do a deep dive in just the Course Connect the drug app? Can we just do that, please? Because that's the best thing going, for me, at least. So then, next thing is Tariq is still trying to find a way to, get Yaz out of foster care. So he goes and crashes Tate's party that he's having for his brother that just got a promotion at his job at the police station. And he basically is saying, hey, I still need to get my sister out of foster care. And Tate's trying to explain to him, hey, family court is a whole different breed compared to other types of courts, and you can't just get what you want immediately, and it's going to be hard. But he ended up setting a meeting with the social worker, and the social worker basically told Tariq, hey, you need proof of employment, you need a place to stay, you need all these things in place if you want to be the person to have primary custody of Yaz, since they don't know ultimately what's going to happen with their grandmother. So Tariq, of course, calls Simon's dude that, is also getting a percentage of Course Connect and everything else. And he's telling him, hey, I need something to where you can issue a check as proof of employment and, put this through your business so that it essentially looks legit. And so the guy was like, great, but I need 30 grand up front and I need somebody to sign over that will be, basically considered the president of the company, so that it looks legit. And so essentially he was saying that it has to be presented this way so that if it ever comes back on an audit from the IRS, that there is legitimate proof that this was an actual business that was taking place, that was paying, this type of money and everything else. So, Tariq basically was trying to hustle and trying to get this 30K. So, of course, Braden, has the connections, has the money, this and that. So he's essentially, told Tariq, I got you. I can get you the 30K, and it's no problem. I can get it to you like quickly. So we had that going on. And then what happens is Tariq then finds out through the social worker he's able to set up a meeting with Yaz, a supervised visit, that I think was probably like 15 minutes or 30 minutes or maybe an hour, I don't know. But it went by really quickly, to where Tariq was able to finally meet with his sister. And so what happened was, Tariq, in the midst of this, he always gets himself in all these conundrums. So he's, meeting first with Diane in the same spot that he met with Lauren the other day, regarding to get, in contact with Method Man. And so she goes down the steps and then Lauren comes up the steps. So they appear to see each other and do like the, oh, hi. Like the dry highs to each other, and Lauren's all pissed and in her feelings, and Tariq is like, it's not like that, there's nothing going on. And so then it got to a point, where of course Tariq's phone rings again, and Lauren's like, I'm tired of this, your phone is always ringing, you never have time for me. And so Tariq said, bump it, I'm gonna show you what actually is going on. So Tariq takes Lauren with him for his supervised visit with the social worker to see Yaz. And so he introduces Lauren to Yaz, and Yaz is all like, oh, she's pretty. is she your girlfriend? And Tariq is like, you're not supposed to be asking questions like that. So they're playing games, they're having a good time. Tariq brings Yaz this teddy bear, and so Lauren excuses herself to have the social worker show her where the bathroom is so that Tariq can show Yaz that he had placed in there a hidden phone with his number program so that while she's at the foster house with her foster care family, she can call Tariq at any time and talk to him. And so basically, Tariq said that he is working on trying to have it so he can be her legal guardian and that they could be together 24/7, which I don't know how that is going to work because Tariq can't even stay at college 24/7 nonetheless, but here we are. And so from there, Tariq also gets a text message from Tate that they can have a setup for a hearing on the 28th at family court. So this could potentially be the court date that he has all of his paperwork and everything in a row to show that he has an apartment, to show that he has proof of a job, proof of income, and that he can essentially be the legal guardian for Yaz. So there is that. And so then after that, since Lauren was so excited that Tariq is like showing her more of his life, him and her have sex, and he's asking, of course, in advance if she's sure. So then she says yes. So then they have sex. And then after they have sex, Tariq sees that he gets an alert on his phone that the video that was taken by the girl that Zeke was sleeping with from the previous episode. It shows him getting taken away by the detective Kevin. It has gone viral on the news. So Tariq is like freaking out. And so Lauren is like, oh, I didn't think it was a big deal. I already knew. And he was like, why didn't you tell me? He's like losing his mind. And he's like, a lot of this rides on, me making sure Zeke does well in school and this and that. And so she was like, oh, well, I didn't know. And so now, Tariq is panicking. So he's calling Method Man to see if Method Man can get down to the precinct and represent, Zeke as his defense attorney and, try to put all this away because it looks sus, of this video just going viral. It makes it look like he's potentially about to get arrested. And Zeke just basically declared that he's trying to go into the NBA and that he's trying to go into the draft. So this is a terrible look, terrible PR, just a terrible situation all the way around. Then next thing is also somehow before all of this, Kevin is able to somehow escape custody that Zeke is in and grill Carrie a whole bunch of stuff about, her affair with the student. And Tate is just eavesdropping, taking all of this stuff in. And Kevin is just calling her out on all of this stuff. And he is just bitter. He is just upset. He is just over it. He wants her bad to be the prime suspect and behind bars, even if she's not the murderer. He is so laser focused on her. So Tate basically gets some tea in the meantime that she was sleeping with the student and her past with Jabari and all of these connections and this and that. And then also in the classroom, him and Carrie are bumping heads because he's still trying to use the ethics class as a political campaign for the students to get them to vote for him. And she's trying to use the ethics class to actually discuss ethics. So it's a clash, and then the class kind of gets into it based off of, which one of them takes the student's side and this and that. Also, Tate is also checking in with Tariq to let him know still that he needs tea on the congressman that is close to the Weston family on Sweeney. And so, basically told Tariq, hey, you got to pay me back with interest now that I'm doing all this stuff for you with family court. I need you to, keep up your end of the bargain, essentially. So then also, Brayden shows up to meet up with Kane to, do their drop and everything else. And so Kane is then trying to convince him to, do some drug dealing on the streets. And so originally Braden says no, but then Kane is hyping it up of how much money you can make. And then, Braden then is sort of interested. So then they're supposed to go. But then, of course, the Zeke drama unfolds. So he has to go back to Monet's house and have a family meeting and discuss next steps. And so, also, the funny thing about that is Monet was MIA all day because she decided to call Mecca back after Mecca met up with Kane, finished up with Kane and, met up with Kane and saw his drop and overwatched from afar his drop with exchange with Tariq and Braden. He sets up this, elaborate dinner where the restaurant is closed down, everything is elegant, everything is first class, a bottle of wine, high-end food, private chefs coming in to serve them. And so they're basically not giving too much away about each other. Monet is saying her former name is no longer, so that's why Dante couldn't find her. And, Dante basically is saying the reason that she hasn't heard from him in 20 plus years is because he was spending time away trying to get his life together. And he wanted to be in a better financial position and a better position overall so that, he could step back to Monet. And so then after that, he takes her on a helicopter ride around the city at nighttime. And it's gorgeous. And so he is just flirting away. I don't know if it didn't look like they hooked up or anything, but it looked like things were almost about to get intimate at the conclusion. And essentially that is when Monet finds out via voicemail that she had missed from earlier that Zeke had been at the precinct all day about this Jabari murder and, trying to get linked to Carrie and all of this other drama that was taking place. And so then Kane then goes up and comes for Tariq. He is obsessed with Tariq. The way Kevin is obsessed with Carrie, Kane is obsessed with Tariq. And I just wanted to stop. This kid, he is so jealous of this guy. He called him, Steve Urkel. But anyways, he shows up to campus out of the blue and punches Tariq as Tariq is trying to, negotiate the money and get his money together so that he can get all of his paperwork and stuff in order. And, Kane punches them, and then he tries to say that if, Zeke goes down for anything or is linked to the Ramirez murder or anything, that he's pinning everything on Tariq. And I'm like, Kane, you're the one who killed Ramirez. You need to own the parts that you did. This whole thing where you're just going to pin everything on Tariq for things that Tariq didn't even do that you did is a little extreme, dude. Seriously, you hate this kid that much that you're just gonna make up that he did all this stuff? Come on now. Seriously? So it was just crazy. It was a hot mess. Kane needs to calm it down. He is obsessed with Tariq, like Kevin is obsessed with Carrie, and it is just insanity. And I am like, who hurt you? What is going on? Get over yourself. So, anyways, Kane was able to flip the money that Braden needed overnight and gave him even more money, from the streets. And so Kane pulls up in his Range Rover with two women that were also at Mecca's house from the previous night. And he's trying to entice Braden to hook up with these women, to leave with him. But he has to drop off the money to Tariq to make sure that they get all this paperwork together, to show that, he has a job and that he has stable income and that Braden can sign off to be the president. So essentially, he has to turn down Kane, but then he gives a stack to the white girl that's in the back seat of the Range Rover to buy herself something nice. And he basically tells her he thinks he's in love with her already. So he's losing his mind. And so then, at the conclusion, of course, everything gets finalized for Tariq to get, this check in order. And Braden basically was the signature to say that he's the president of the company, and everything else. So that's where we are. So next, we're just going to see if there's going to be a situation where Lorenzo actually does get out of jail, because that can be very interesting. Now with Mecca, aka Dante, in the mix, that could be a very interesting storyline. Also, I am happy that we are making some headway on the Ramirez disappearance. So hopefully that can eventually work out. And then I feel like this Tate and Tariq situation is going to go up in flames. It is not going to end well, because they already barely trust each other. So this is not going to go the way that they're expecting it to go. And so then finally, it was hilarious because when Monet finally gets to the precinct and it's like late at night, she keeps cussing out Whitman, and their whole exchange was just hilarious because she's like fighting him, to get to get off of her back, because she just wants to get her nephew out of there. She just wants to get him out of this police station. And they are just having such a hilarious exchange because she is just like cussing him out. She has had it. She is over him and she just can't take it. She just wants her son gone. So it is just a hilarious situation. So, but yeah, like I said earlier, I just want the show to focus on course correct. That is the best thing that is going for this series, and I just wish that could be the focus. I'm hoping, like I said, season 3, we could just do a deep dive into Course Connect and all the players and all the high-tech advances that is happening with it, because that is the best storyline by far for me. And I guess we'll move forward and see, the next steps that is going to be taken with this murder case. So that's all that I have. Let me know your guys' thoughts. Let me know what you guys agree on or disagree on. Those of you, if it's your first time viewing my channel, welcome. Those of you who've been back multiple times, thank you so much for your continued support. I'm thankful. I'm grateful. I'm appreciative of each and every single one of you. I do read all of your comments. I try to like all your comments and interact as well, but I do see everything. And I'm very thankful for how quickly we've grown, and I appreciate so much all of your support. Please do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you're notified the moment that I post new content on my channel. And with that being said, I will talk to you guys again very soon. Have a nice rest of your day, and I will talk to you later.